Well, hello everybody and welcome to Elegant ASMR with me, Nicolas Fairford. Now, if you've never seen me before, I'm actually quite a seasoned YouTuber. I've been creating videos on YouTube for about 3 years, and one of the things that my audience often tells me is that I have a very ASMR quality to my voice, and I get quite a lot of requests for ASMR videos. I've been thinking about creating my first ASMR channel for quite some time, and I finally decided to go ahead and do that. And this is where Elegant ASMR is born. So whether you're new or whether you know me from before, I hope that you will enjoy this new channel and join along with me as we celebrate ASMR. Now, I will still be doing my regular YouTube content, so if you've never seen that before, I will provide a link in the description box so that you can check out my regular content. I usually upload 1 video per week. So, for my first ever ASMR video here on Elegant ASMR, I wanted to have a look through this book together. Now, books are one of my favourite things. I have quite a few in my collection, so I thought that we would walk through this together. It's by one of my favourite style icons, Deeda Blair, who I'll tell you more about as we look through her latest book. So, without further ado, let's get started. For best experience, use headphones. So, I've just been enjoying a cup of tea, a little cup of Earl Grey. I'll pop that to one side so that we can have a look through this book together. So yes, this is Deeda Blair, Food, Flowers and Fantasy. Deeda Blair is an incredible icon of style and a philanthropist. We'll learn more about her as we go through the book. But as I mentioned before, this is a new book of mine, but it has already become a favourite. Now, as we go through, I want to first highlight that one of the very special things about this book is the quality of the paper. And this is something that I did expect from Deeda Blair, who is fastidious about details. This paper is a wonderful quality when you touch it, and what I like the most about it is that it's a matte paper, which means that when you're reading the book, no light is going to hit it and make the pictures too shiny to see, which can be the case for many books. This one is perfect for reading and admiring the photographs. So as you will see, there are many beautiful photographs, and this first one is perhaps one of my very favourites in the book. So let's just go through the contents page here. So it starts with an introduction, and then part 1 is called Thoughts and Reflections on Entertaining and then on Inspiration. Part 2 is fantasy menus, and it goes through various scenarios for fantasy, lunches, dinners and picnics. So we have lunch at Haga Pavilion, Sunday lunch at La Fiorentina, picnic on a visit to Egyptian treasures, luncheon at Chateau du Jonchée, dinner at Pavlovsk Palace, and dinner at the Petit Trianon. Part 3 is recipes, so we've got soups, first courses, lunches and salads, pasta, poultry and meat, fish and lobster, vegetables, cakes, tarts, soufflés and cookies, ice cream, sorbets and fruit desserts, sauces and special favourites. So let me take you through the first part, which is the introduction by Andrew Solomon. So here is a picture of Deeda Blair shortly after her wedding to William McCormick Blair Jr., wearing a dress by Givenchy, 1961. Photo by Helmut Newton for Vogue. So this just goes through an introduction about Deeda Blair and her life. And there is a photograph here of Deeda for W Paris in 1999. And this really just epitomises her chic, elegant style. She's wearing a black tuxedo dress. And even though this was taken in 1999, it could quite easily be a photograph, an outfit that would work today. And here we have an incredible double-page spread of Deeda's Manhattan living room. And you can see it's filled with French antique furniture, but the most obvious and striking point is that it is quite plain and pared back. There are no pictures on the walls. It is quite monotone in colour, but it is extremely elegant, just like Deeda Blair herself. Now, before we go any further, you might be able to see my little dog here, Sophie. I think she enjoys a little bit of ASMR too, because she wanted to sit next to me whilst I look through this book, and I can tell you that she is quite a relaxed little doggy. So I'm just going to skip ahead a few of these pages, but this is just talking about Deeda's life. She was married to quite a wealthy diplomat in the US. They lived in Washington, but she is quite the pioneer when it comes to charity and philanthropy. And she focuses on a lot of mental health charities, and also she does a lot of work for AIDS research. So she's not only stylish, but also a wonderful person. Here is Deeda with her husband, Bill Blair, in Venice, Italy, 1991. So, part 1, Thoughts and Reflections on Entertaining. So, what I know about Deeda Blair is that she is quite a private person. She is not on any social media, and she keeps her life very much to herself, but she does throw some incredible dinners and parties. People who have Instagram, who are friends with Deeda and who attend her parties, sometimes post pictures from her dinners or luncheons, and they look sublime. And I'm just going to read this first part of this chapter. It is in many ways out of character for me to write a book, as privacy is very important to me. My desire to do so is twofold. One reason is that I would hate to see the recipes collected here, enjoyed and perfected over so many years, vanish. The other is to raise money for my foundation, the Deeda Blair Research Initiative for Disorders of the Brain. Many of the recipes in this book date back to my past. A few come from my grandmother and mother. Others are dishes I've been served by generous friends in their homes or on my travels. Some I've taken from famous cooks or cookbooks, and still others come from trying to crack the mystery and replicate dishes from favourite restaurants. Nearly all have been adapted by me, altered in their proportions or ingredients, or amended in other substantial ways. I'm just going to have a little sip of my tea. So yes, Deeda is quite the entertainer. She likes to have people at her home. And here is a little picture of a side table set for lunch in Deeda's living room in New York. On the easel is an 18th century watercolour by Hubert Robert. So yes, you can see the wonderful style that she has. And I just really do love this table setting. We have some lilacs here in the centre, a gingham tablecloth and napkins, some blue and white china, and some gorgeous bamboo flatware. And even though those are quite simple elements, together they create something very special. And here we have kind of a mood board of memorable flowers and parties that Deeda has hosted. Deeda likes to repot nursery plants like this white rose into pretty containers for the house. A bouquet for the bedroom, lilacs and white roses from the garden with ceramic vegetables, a generous arrangement of ranunculus, a favourite flower of Deeda's. And here we have the dining table in the living room. So these branches that you see here are actually made from porcelain, and this is by an incredible Russian artist called Vladimir Kanevsky, who makes the most beautiful porcelain flowers. It is actually an object that I've wanted to have for some time, but they're very, very pricey, so who knows whether I'll ever be able to buy one. So this is a picture of Deeda sightseeing along the Dalmatian coast in the 1960s by Cecil Beaton. And here it says, "My life has admittedly been one of privilege. I think I've had my share of sadness and grief, but so too have I had great freedom and opportunity, having travelled widely and seen and read much. On the question of whether one is born with taste or whether it is acquired, my view is strongly that one is not born with it. It is the result of careful consideration and observation. It is partly a question of exposure, of seeing beautiful things, but more important are the qualities of openness and curiosity. Taste, I believe, comes from being open to the influence of other people and of art, books, travel, gardens, rooms and houses." And I think that is such a wonderful sentiment and something that I wholeheartedly agree with. So this part of the book just goes through some of Deeda Blair's favourite inspirations and things that she loves. So this is a painting, one of the many wonderful paintings that hung in Mary Lasker's home on Beacon Place in New York. And it is by Henri Matisse and is called Meditation, Après le Bain, from 1920. And again, another scrapbook of inspiration. Here we have a Mark Rothko untitled painting from 1970. And actually Mark Rothko happens to be one of my favourite artists. I really appreciate his work. Here we have a John Singer Sargent from 1880. An anonymous bust of Alexander the Great. And here we have a painting by of a woman in white by an artist that I can't pronounce, Raimondo di Madrazo e Garetta. And I'm sure I've said that wrong, but I gave it my best shot. Lots of other paintings here. This one is quite beautiful. It is called Portrait of Antoine Laurent Lavoisier by Jacques Louis David. Portrait of Antoine Laurent Lavoisier and Marie-Anne Lavoisier, oil on canvas. And here is a portrait of Deeda in her garden. He's wearing a straw hat with a ribbon on. And here are some beautiful foxgloves, which I absolutely adore. There's a picture here of Deeda with her father on her wedding day at Frederiksborg Castle in Denmark in 1961. Her pale blue dress is by Balenciaga and the headdress is by Givenchy. How beautiful. More inspiration, and these are Deeda's favourite gardens and landscapes. A hornbeam enclosed parterre of boxwood in Daniel Romualdez's garden, designed by Miranda Brooks. Here we have a Japanese garden in bloom, and this is Babe Paley's garden at Kaluna Farm. So yes, Deeda's favourite gardens. And then we have a picture here of Deeda at her home in Washington DC, designed by Billy Baldwin in 1972. Now I have to say that this is probably my favourite picture in the entire book. It is a bureau with a potted flower by Claire Potter. The hand-painted curtains are from France. So yes, this is a potted flower by Claire Potter. So again, another faux flower made out of porcelain and toll. Absolute incredible works of art. And these are some snapshots of travels with her husband Bill in various locations around the world: Denmark, the Philippines, Iran, Chile, and Siberia. And this is a snapshot from one of Deeda's scrapbooks showing her and Bill with the Wrightsmans and friends travelling in the Mediterranean in the late 1960s. So this is just to show that Deeda is well travelled, well versed in looking for beauty every day through travel, visiting museums, visiting gardens. And again, I think that is something that is very important if you want to hone your eye and develop your personal taste. So part 2 is fantasy menus. Lunch at the Haga Pavilion. So this section of the book is basically a collection of some of Deeda's favourite places around the world. She talks about the inspiration of them, and then she creates a lunch to go with each location. I think this is such a beautiful idea and something that I would like to try myself. I've got quite a few favourite locations all around the world, and just to create a menu from them I think would be a wonderful idea. So here we have some pictures of the Haga Pavilion to represent the inspiration for this lunch. Beautiful interior with incredible windows. And here we have the lunch itself. The first course is cold vegetables with herbs and vinaigrette. The main course is harissa marinated chicken with grapefruit salad and fried potato ribbons. And the dessert is green grape mould with custard sauce. Doesn't that sound so delicious? I would absolutely love to try all of those delicious foods. And as you can see here, the table setting is also very special with these gorgeous flowers and these linens and beautiful silverware. And here is a picture of the the chicken on a beautiful dish, so elegant and refined. I'm just going to read this to you now. My dream would be to have a picnic inspired by Haga's luminous atmosphere. The Swedish palette is often pale and soft, with blues, whites, creams and greys. Never anything garish, but to me blue and white are the colours of Sweden. In Stockholm we often ate at a restaurant that had a menu edged with a patterned garland in various shades of blue and white, which I have never forgotten. So I chose the venison tablecloth in the roses pattern. I had it made in a pale greyish blue with white, which reminds me of the natural beauty and love of flowers that inspire the Swedish imagination. Under the tablecloth's ruffled bottom edge is another fabric in blue and white gingham, which also feels very Swedish. To blue and white I like to add a bit of pink. In my garden in Washington I planted only white and pale pink roses. So for the flowers here we added some pink roses and lilacs to the palette. You can see here the grape dessert, the green grape mould, and here the most beautiful picture of this table setting by the window in New York. This incredible curtain detail, just simple, beautiful elegance. How gorgeous. Well, I really do hope that you have enjoyed looking through this book with me today. It has been such a joy to share it with you all, and going through such a beautiful thing just brings me so much pleasure. I would love to know what you thought of this video. Obviously this is the first one in this ASMR channel, so I would appreciate feedback. Hopefully you found it ultra relaxing and calming. Also please do let me know ideas and topics that you would like me to talk about on this channel. I want to keep it really simple, focusing on sounds and the voice, and it also has to be elegant. So please do let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear your ideas. I would also appreciate if you could subscribe to this channel. If you're new here and if you've enjoyed it, that would be great, as then more people will be able to discover it and make it worthwhile. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next time. But until then, take care